well. Okay, so welcome back to everyone at Talk Tonight. Thank you for being in touch over the last sort of 3-4 weeks since I've been not been in touch with everyone. So yeah, thank you for getting in touch with everyone in here. So I'm now in my new desk, and we've got everything sort of like ready for 2025 for the podcast. Just reflected on everything which has happened over the last sort of I guess the last 2024, which was obviously like we did manage to do 4 podcasts. Obviously we're talking about like mental health challenges. We were talking about like living with mitochondrial disease, which is obviously my story. We went through some family struggles over the last sort of like 2024. And the incredible moving story of the Pitball Nigel Whitear's journey through his life in jail and his battles through drug issues. So again, that was like really, really positive over the last 2024. And that's how podcasts worked. And worked really, really well over 2024. So, our vision for 2025. I'm again like super, super excited about this one. So we're going to be talking to begin with is Cara, my wife, and obviously my best friend, and everything that we've been through. I think that the first podcast we're going to talk about in 2025 is Cara's story. We're going to talk about like what my diagnosis looked like for Cara to deal with. The other thing that Cara's been dealt with was coping the tragic of her brother, who was murdered in Coventry less than 2 years ago, just before my diagnosis. One of Cara's brothers was murdered in Coventry, and to talk about things which are like, was a very, very serious situation. Cara's going to speak about that on the podcast. We're going to talk about like what happened, what went through sort of like stage 1, stage 2 of the murder, and how those guys got dealt with properly. And Cara's going to obviously talk about that on podcast number 1. Again, it's a very powerful story. And again, for everyone to sort of like sit down and watch it is going to be like, really, it's going to be a good watch, but like, it's going to be quite a sad story. But these guys that dealt with that murdered, they were dealt with. And Cara's going to talk about that a little bit better than I could, because it affected her family. And I hope that Cara's going to be open about to be able to talk about that sort of stuff. The powerful story of one of my friends, Ian. My friend Ian, he served in the Navy with me before moving his family to Canada. So I've not seen Ian. We've only seen each other for a couple of times. He's come to his home in Sheffield, and Ian's going to talk about how he dealt with the devastating loss of his friend Hammy. Hammy was a really, really nice guy, really full of positive, full of life, and for some reason he took his life. So Ian's going to talk about Hammy and talk about like those sorts of like situations which he went through, like moving from his life to Canada was obviously like a big change for him. So talk about like the change of moving to a different family, not to a different family, but a different change. So Ian's going to talk about that sort of stuff, hopefully. So I'm going to get him to have a chat, and then get him on the podcast to talk about that sort of stuff as well, which is again really interesting. What we're going to talk about then is being a sports enthusiast. Always been like super enthusiast with sport. I'm keen to connect with any athletes to explore the links between mental health challenges and their fields to excellence. I've been super excited with darts. One of the guys has been dealing with dartitis, and they need to explain what dartitis actually means, because I think it's a mental health problem. And they use it as a positive push able to be able to sort of like to talk about like their sports issues. I know for a fact that like a lot of my guys that I know through boxing, again, they've had real challenges when they boxed. And I know like Ricky Hatton as well, like he really struggled with his mental health after being a professional boxer. So yeah, darts I'm very interested in. So if anyone wants to sort of like jump in with me and talk about and how that affects things, that would be like really positive for me to think about and to chat about as well, which is really positive. So if anyone wants to sort of like jump on the podcast with me and to talk about sports and that sort of stuff, that would be like really positive and really great to sort of like to look at. The other thing is going to be looking at in 2025 is we're going to launch a group. Obviously, Facebook groups work really well to get people to sort of like jump on the podcast, but then jump on to basic conversation. I know that like podcasts and groups and that sort of stuff, we use groups a lot when we used to do our events, our boxing events. We used to do like a lot with groups and that sort of stuff to put groups together. And I did another one, which was the football companies through groups. So if anyone again wants to sort of like to create a group, but I'm going to put together my group to for me to sort of like maybe get out in Coventry. I know that there's a lot of men's companies that are going on to groups, so I'd like to jump on to some of their groups and to sort of like see how they're getting on as well, which is again really positive. So yeah, we're going to try and put together a group ASAP to get people on there on the group as well, which is positive. Going forward, within our desk and setup is ready to go. So we're looking forward to hosting more live sessions. More live sessions meaning anyone can come and jump on a WhatsApp. They can jump on a Facebook Live. They can jump on a TikTok Live with me. Anyone is more than happy to jump on a live with me. I'm like I say, I'm here, man. I've got the new setup here with me. You can see it down in here. I've got obviously my pictures when I used to box and some of my guys when I was in the Navy, and I've got loads of pictures as well, which are really good, funny stories to talk about, which is again really positive. So if anyone again wants to jump on a TikTok with me, on a live, on anything like that, I'm going to be available. So what I'll do is I'll put together this out live, and I'll put this out on Podcaster as well for everyone to see. And then we can sort of like anyone can jump on there, which is again really positive. So yeah, call to action. Everyone can join. Okay, so call to action. You can contact me on Facebook, on TikTok, and on WhatsApp. My WhatsApp is 07359295005. You can call me anytime that you are feeling bad, that you are worrying, that you are not able to talk, I'm here. I'm here to listen. So that's what Talk Tonight is all about. And to have my new setup here as well. Look, I can move forward. Oh my God, where am I going? Going high. I can go. I can go low. Very, very interesting. There we go. So yeah, obviously it looks like a little bit better. We've got like a little from what was it? It's got the dock. Yeah, they look pretty cool. So my little purple people. That's interesting. And what else can we see? So we can see everything there. There's more pictures there of obviously like boxing, and we got like loads of pictures. I've got a new desk and new setup as well, which is very exciting. And yeah, you can hear me now as well. I've got a little mic and that sort of stuff. So yeah, got a nice little setup here, which is again really, really nice. So again, if anyone wants to sort of like to jump in a chat, they can jump into a live, anything like that. I'm super, super excited about it. So what I'll do is after all my text, I'll put this out. So anyone can sort of like see it from a text position. And they can read it. And it's going to be on Spotify, on Apple Pods. What else are we on? YouTube. We're on TikTok Live. We're on Facebook Live. We're on everything. So we've got a proper professional setup, again, which is very exciting to sort of like to get on. So yeah, if anyone wants to sort of like to jump on, again, very super, super excited. Yeah, it's I've got a nice little chair as well. Like, yeah, I've got a nice little chair. Looks like quite comfortable. I guess we sold our boxing gym a few weeks ago, just before Christmas. I know that the guys at Midlands Boxing Ring Hire, I'd like to say thank you to Rob. I've worked with Rob doing boxing rings. It'll be 11 years. I'd like to say thank you to Rob at Boxing Ring Hire, and how he helped me move from the gym out. We managed to sell like a lot of the stuff for me to be able to put together my podcast. So yeah, thank you to Rob for that one. Again, which is a really, really positive thing. So yeah, anyone wants to sort of like to boxing ring, Rob Jones in Boxing Ring Hire, he's the guy to go and speak to, again, which is again really, really positive. So yeah, this is a guest will be podcast. The dog is barking. He wants something. And apparently one of my kids has been punched in the nose. So his nose is like that. Yeah, great. Happy days. We're looking great with that one. Thank you for everyone that's jumped in this live as well. I really, really appreciate that. And anyone sort of like jumps on the live, like, the dog's just barking for absolutely no reason. So, yeah. Anyway, I guess which is like podcast number 5. This our chat. I'm going to be doing a chat with Cara. Is going to be the first one. It's a very, again, like I said, it's a very powerful story about my diagnosis, but we're going to talk about the tragic murder of her brother in Coventry. So we're going to talk about that as well. So again, thank you for everyone joining. And to jump on, which is like podcast number 5. But then it'll be on podcast number 4 as well. The podcast number 6. And we're going to hit podcast 10. And again, if anyone wants to join, I'm going to put this out for information to join. Take care, everyone. I'll see you soon.